How you doing? Well, school was supposed to start uh, on Thursday the 10th. And so what I did in the special education center, whatever you want to say, is I prolonged it for a month. So I have tons of questions. I don't even know how to begin this video. First of all, I have questions about the virus and the mask and the mandate. But second of all, when this all happened a year and a half ago, when I saw the way they did the uh, remote learning, I was like, whoa. I was like, sorry to say, but we could have done a better job. Okay, so we don't sit here and try to put people down and tell them how bad they're doing. That's not what we do. But I understand that maybe they weren't prepared, but I don't know. Then on the other hand, I wonder, were they even doing their best in the first place? I guess I would say. So these are my thoughts and opinions, and if somebody don't like them, then that's fine. But I know that these teachers and people who teach in the special education, everything, or even regular ed, maybe their heart is in it, but I feel it just didn't really go the best it could. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but in this situation we're in, okay, you have somebody that's 23 years old, they're in special education, but they're actually mentally like 9 years old in a lot of areas. And there hasn't been testing done since 2015, and they forcing me to sign some letter of they already believe that he still has the same diagnosis of autism, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, they're probably not going to do any more testing because he's over 18. I don't know. A lot of times you can't ask the questions you want because you have to ask sometimes in a different way. But I really don't even know what I'm doing. But I wanted to come on today and talk about what we're up against. We got the school prolonged for 1 month, but here's my question. If you have a kid in special education, if they're mainstreamed and even if they're not mainstreamed, in this case, we are not mainstreamed. He doesn't go to a regular ed classroom for one class or two or any. He just straight up special education. So what I didn't get to ask was what happens at the end when they're like 25, but it depends. Sometimes it's 26. So what happens at the end? What do they get? When they're done, do they get a diploma? Like it's like you graduated high school? Like I really wouldn't think you do. Okay. So did you go to college? Did you go to a trade school? What good is that piece of paper going to do in this situation? Like with myself, when I dropped out of school, but I went to take the GED, I finally went on, okay, before you even graduate with the GED, you can do a lot of things. So then I went on to graduate, but I realized, I don't know if I said this in my last video because I might not have posted the one that I wanted, but my mom got free beauty college out of it because she just went and got her GED. And she actually benefited, you know. All right, so when you're in special education, if you just get this completion paper that don't mean nothing, like, what good is that? Okay, so when I got the phone call, there's been lots of phone calls lately and all different sorts of questions that are new ones. And he's 23, but he's mentally like 9 in certain areas, but he could be older in a couple others, okay? We're going by the testing of 2015, okay? So I'm gonna call up and, you know, ask another question because I'm only learning as I go. But I never really thought of this until COVID hit, because I just seen the way they were teaching through remote learning, which was a lot different. Okay, just it woke me up more in that area of, you know, maybe we aren't getting what we need. He's allowed to go till he's like 25, 26, but I don't know. So she called, wants me to sign a piece of paper to agree with his diagnosis that there's no more testing going to be done to, I guess, verify the diagnosis, okay? And for me to sign a piece of paper online and do like DocuSign. And so I did. Who knows the reason, because this never happened before. So that was my question, but she didn't call me back. And they called the last minute, 2 days before school starts. They didn't even say when school started. And then they called me last minute. We had psychologist, we had principal, we had teacher. And I got a lot going through my mind. My question is, and I asked her, could I homeschool? And she says, well, he's over 18. He could drop out of the program anytime he wants to. And I said, okay, but my question was more like, well, can we homeschool? Because I think that, I guess maybe there's this certificate that we should get, or who knows? That's the point that I didn't get asked. And then she's like, well, if you're involved in community mental health, which is with our county, which we used to be in community mental health, but we're not right now. Okay. She says he could go to a day program. And I says, oh, okay, like life skills. That's one of our names of the day program they could go to, because I worked there. I worked there before. And I'm sorry to say, but it's a joke. Yes, she says. Well, they don't learn anything there, and it's just a day program. So, I mean, supposedly he could drop out of school right now and he could go to a day program, and they just sit there and they veg out. Okay, I'm sorry, but a lot of them are, they have seizures all the time. They're autistic, they're cognitive impaired, and they sit there all day, and you're like a babysitter. It's just like a day program. And many of the girls, they just don't do their job. They stand around. They just, believe me, please, it's a joke. So you're not going to get any certificate by dropping out right now and going to a day program. I know that. So I practically got my answer. He's not going to get much of graduating on special education either. So when I went to get him mainstreamed a long time ago of being in like special education and also regular ed, I went to check into getting him into a math class. You know, we could have mainstreamed him into a math class, but the problem was they wouldn't bus him back to the school. It was such a joke. You'd have to drive and everything. It just the system is really just shitty. It really is. So um I'm making this video because I mean things just need to be talked about, and I never thought to worry or be concerned about a diploma or a certificate or anything, and I never ever thought like what what benefits or non-benefits, whatever you'd say. You know, I never thought about that till like a year and a half ago. And I guess seeing that, I don't know, like it really don't matter is kind of, I wanted to say disheartening, but I don't even think that's a word to use because I got to get good with, but you know, it's kind of depressing because like what I wondered then, say you have a kid in special education and he gets 18 and he drops out, just say, okay, so then you would have to homeschool anyway to get the kid to, if you could, if they were verbal and they could understand things, you could probably teach them yourself, and then possibly one day take a GED test to pass. Like I don't know, I have I have questions about this, so um, I don't know if I'm thinking weird or wrong, but I guess when you have a special education kid, you don't really think about these things until you know they're older, and then I thought, well, you're kind of left without a choice. I mean, I don't know. You know, everybody just always made it so important to get a diploma or to get a GED or to get something, and I don't know, it just seems these days that what really doesn't matter. I don't know. I went on to get my GED and my diploma, and I'm still in the same position. I couldn't afford college. I probably would have loved to, but at 24, I had a son with a disability. I was too young to even really. They kept asking me in school of where I would go to college or what I wanted to study, and I kept telling them I just don't know. You know, I, I don't know. I mean, we didn't have computer classes that I was interested in. They wanted me to go for science. They want to be accelerated biology, and that they already put me to algebra 1 when they didn't even put me to pre-algebra, and they really helped me with not making the honor roll. The decisions they make don't always work. They, I don't know. I gotta pause it for a minute. So I guess what I'm really wondering is, what do you do when you're in the position and you have someone that's in special education, and what do they get at the end, and what good is it? Like, I know we're all required to go to school, but truthfully, if I would have known more, I should have, I don't know, educationally, I should have taught my kid more. I mean, he's very smart in everyday life and talking and speaking and computers and making videos and editing them, and we need to get better at self-care and, you know, communication, which I need things, you know, but I don't know. I never thought I would have these questions. I never even think they would ever come to me. I never knew. So now I'm on the other end thinking it's almost like it doesn't even matter. I don't think he's gonna get anything that's going to really help. So we prolong school for a month. I'm gonna sign a form. We're gonna get back to him in a month, and I think that's good because they keep talking about this damn variant that's going around, and the jab doesn't even help the variants, and he's so smart that he watches the news that let's just play it out and see. I guess I just don't want to diss the school too long. Well, you know that too. They get their certain amount of dollars each year for everybody who attends. But it's not in my heart to diss anybody, and it's not in my heart to use anyone and whatever, but I have to make another phone call now because I already talked to her twice, and then now I got new questions, and just what is the end result when he gets that certificate of completion? What's it good for? Because if it's not good for anything, then why not drop out? He's 23. He could go till he's 25 or 6. But really, I never thought to wonder, even getting into any of this, of the end result, because what you were doing is doing it because you had to, doing it because it's a law. But the outcome of it, how could you have made the outcome any different? I don't think there was a way to do that. So what a sad situation if you really think about it. Okay. Thank you for listening. This is basically also like just a message to myself to remember, so I could document and make the video, and for everybody else out there that has dealt with autism or I don't know, it just seems like we're in a tough spot. So I really appreciate you listening. Sometimes in life there's just no decision, no right decision for anything. There really isn't. And I know you could do it without even like, I don't even know what to say, but you could do it without even doing what they require you to do because a lot of times it's not going to result in anything. I mean, and the quicker you quit it, the quicker you're going to get to the next level. So, like, I would love to pay for this one homeschooling thing on a Celius or whatever, and just, I wonder what you could get from that. What do you get from these homeschools things? You know, like, can you go to college by homeschooling and getting some certificate from some school online? Because I found one that you could pay for. What grade do you know you're in when you're in special education? You don't know. Actually, on the form I got, which I need a copy of because I should have took a picture because I docu-signed it, but the grade was not a grade. It was transition or something. it was, I don't even know. So anyway, I rambled on for 20 minutes, and I appreciate you listening, but these are the things that I sit here and think about all the time and wonder, and it's a lot of different stuff. So when I'm not around, it's deep shit, you know. But, you know, I shouldn't swear, and I'm sorry for that. It's just deep stuff. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and thank you for listening. That's it. All right, bye.